Mysterious and incomprehensible, they tread through our homes with the grace of ancient deities, their emerald or sapphire eyes seemingly holding the secrets of the universe. Cats, these amazing creatures, whose nature is woven from contradictions, can simultaneously charm with their independence and conquer with boundless tenderness. Far from every person finds a common language with these capricious beings. Their character is often marked by capriciousness. Pleasing them can be extremely difficult, and above all, they value the opportunity to live according to their own self-determined schedule. However, at the same time, it is hardly possible to find a more devoted and loving pet than a cat, ready to give its affection to those it chooses. These furry companions can surprisingly easily be trained in basic rules of behavior, do not require overly complex care, and are rightfully considered some of the most affectionate and responsive companions among the entire diversity of the animal kingdom. But despite all their irresistible charm and ability to evoke tenderness, cat owners often witness rather eccentric and sometimes completely inexplicable actions of their pets, which inevitably makes us wonder, what thought processes, what secret motives and instincts are actually hidden in the depths of the feline consciousness in this small, fur-covered head? From the mysterious, soothing purring, capable of melting any heart, to the gentle rubbing of the face against our legs, and even to the seemingly endless sleep that occupies most of their day. In the framework of our today's narrative, we will attempt to lift the veil of mystery over 15 of the most remarkable and often quite strange behavioral features of cats. To help you delve deeper into their world and understand what really lies behind these mysterious actions. For anyone who shares their living space with a representative of the feline family, it is no secret that these creatures have a truly boundless passion for the process of meticulously licking their fur. As soon as they have a minute of free time, precious moments of leisure, cats with visible pleasure and diligence begin this intricate ritual of self-care, methodically and scrupulously processing every, even the most secluded centimeter of their body with their rough tongue, starting from the tips of their sensitive ears to the very tip of their mobile tail. Often they repeat this complex procedure several times during a single calendar day, demonstrating an amazing commitment to cleanliness. Such behavior, observed from the side, at first glance, may seem somewhat eccentric, perhaps even excessive, or bordering on obsession. But the undeniable truth is that cats, by their very nature, are creatures much cleaner and more hygienic than the overwhelming majority of other representatives of the diverse animal world. This scrupulous and almost meditative process of licking is their natural, instinctively embedded, and highly effective method of ridding their fur of the smallest particles of household dust, street dirt, dead hairs, and all kinds of other contaminants that can accumulate during the day. Moreover, there is another, no less important reason for such selfless care for cleanliness. The more flawless and well-groomed a cat's coat looks, the less its natural individual scent is able to attract unwanted attention from potential predators, which is a critically important aspect of their survival strategy in the wild, unpredictable nature. Therefore, if you, as a caring owner, suddenly begin to notice that your furry companion, unexpectedly and without apparent reason, stops their usual daily hygiene procedures and ceases to pay due close attention to caring for their fur, this change in behavior should serve as a very serious and unambiguous signal for your concern, and quite possibly become a valid reason for an immediate consultation with a qualified veterinary specialist. In order to rule out possible health problems, many owners of furry pets have repeatedly witnessed their cats making peculiar chirping or clicking sounds. Especially often this phenomenon is observed when the animal is outdoors or by the window, intently watching the outside world. As a rule, such vocalization occurs at the very moment when a bird, fluttering nearby or perched on a tree branch, comes into the cat's field of vision. Despite the widespread belief that such chirping undoubtedly indicates a burning desire of the cat to immediately rush into pursuit and catch the feathered prey, the true reason for this sound manifestation is somewhat different and perhaps more touching. In reality, cats begin to make these characteristic sounds because they instinctively try to imitate the chirping of birds, mimicking their voices. The sight of fast-moving, chirping birds causes strong excitement in cats, a kind of hunting fervor mixed with curiosity. And they, obeying this impulse, attempt to engage in dialogue with potential prey in its own bird language. Gree, this looks quite cute and adds another touch to the understanding of the complex nature of these amazing creatures, doesn't it? One of the habits that can occasionally cause some irritation to cat owners is their manner of approaching a person and starting to intensively rub their face literally against all parts of their body, be it legs, arms, or even the face. However, it is important to understand that in reality, cats demonstrate such behavior far from everyone they meet. This seemingly intrusive gesture is a deeply symbolic act of expressing tender affection and trust, through which the cat seeks to mix its unique individual scent with the scent of the person, thereby marking them as their own. Perceive this as a special, non-verbal way for your pet to inform you of its sincere sympathy and affection, especially if your acquaintance took place relatively recently, or if the cat exhibits such behavior after some separation. This is a kind of feline hug, a mark of friendship and acceptance into its close circle. Imagine a more energetic and, perhaps, somewhat persistent form of the aforementioned face rubbing. These are the very headbutts that cats reserve exclusively for those few chosen ones to whom they feel especially strong and deep affection. At times, being in a state of special inspiration and joy from communicating with their beloved owners, cats can become so carried away with the process of expressing their feelings that they literally start to butt you with their head to unambiguously demonstrate how pleasant it is for them to be in your company and enjoy your attention. Such persistent butting also often serves as a nonverbal signal, a call to action on your part, an invitation to start gently petting, scratching behind the ear, or showing other pleasant signs of attention to the cat in response to its stormy display of love and devotion. Periodically, you may find your whiskered friend in the most unexpected, tiny, and secluded corners of your home. This could be a cardboard box forgotten after unpacking purchases, a small, cramped cabinet where it seems impossible to squeeze in, or even the space under the sink in the bathroom. This desire for solitude is explained by the fact that cats have a special love for limited, tight spaces where they feel maximally comfortable, cozy, and, importantly, completely safe from any external irritants. Despite all their sincere affection for people and pleasure from communication, cats from time to time vitally need to be completely alone, to immerse themselves in their own small, secluded refuge from the world, where they can completely relax and detach themselves from the hustle and bustle of the surrounding reality. Perhaps one of the most perplexing and, dare we say, sometimes frankly shocking manifestations of feline behavior that many loving but somewhat puzzled owners have to put up with is their peculiar habit of presenting gifts in the form of caught and often killed small creatures. Imagine the scene: your charming, purring pet, having just successfully completed its hunting expedition somewhere in the garden or even within the apartment, proudly and dignifiedly carries its prey, be it a careless rodent, a bird that flew too close, or even a large insect, and demonstratively places it at your feet or even on your pillow. This gesture, capable of evoking a whole gamut of emotions from bewilderment to disgust in an unprepared person, actually carries a much deeper meaning than it might seem at first glance. This is not just a primitive way to express gratitude for shelter and food, although an element of gratitude is certainly present here. First and foremost, it is a manifestation of sincere, albeit somewhat peculiarly expressed, care for your well-being to ensure that you, its wayward, by feline standards, member of the pack, always have enough sustenance. By bringing you these unfortunate dead creatures or flapping birds, your cat, driven by ancient instincts, sincerely believes that in this way, it is teaching you vital hunting skills, passing on its invaluable mastery so that you, God forbid, do not remain hungry and do not perish from exhaustion in this harsh world. It sees in you an incapable of independently obtaining food relative, in need of care and mentorship. Well, as they say, the main thing in such a gift is undoubtedly the attention shown and the best intentions, albeit in such an extravagant form, isn't it? Some people choose cats as pets precisely because these small, furry creatures spend approximately 15 hours daily and sometimes more, sleeping, thereby providing their owners with enough time to complete all planned tasks and obligations before needing to pay attention to their pet. However, few owners think or know for sure that cats are biologically nocturnal animals, meaning they are most active and awake precisely at night. To maintain such a nocturnal lifestyle and have enough energy for their midnight adventures, they absolutely need to accumulate strength by sleeping during the long daylight hours. And although some especially adaptive domestic cats over time can partially adjust their individual sleep and wake schedule to their owner's routine, most of them still greatly enjoy their favorite activity, a 15-hour sleep, which is often interspersed with numerous short periods of daytime dozing, allowing them to restore their strength. Although purring is a fairly common and characteristic phenomenon for cats of almost all known breeds and ages, you will undoubtedly be surprised when you learn about the diverse and sometimes unexpected reasons why cats make this specific vibrating sound. Most kittens master the art of purring at the tender age of just 2 days old, and this amazing ability accompanies them throughout their subsequent lives, becoming an integral part of their communication and self-expression. To this day, no scientist can provide an absolutely accurate and comprehensive answer to the question of why exactly cats purr, except for the fact that in moments when they experience happiness, deep satisfaction, or are in a state of complete peace and tranquility, their brain sends special signals that cause the muscles of the larynx to vibrate with an astonishing frequency, ranging from 25 to 150 oscillations per second. It is this high-frequency vibration that produces that very characteristic sound of purring, which so pleases the ear of many cat lovers. There is also an interesting suggestion that these low-frequency vibrations that occur during purring have a therapeutic effect and can help heal various infections, reduce swelling, and even accelerate the regeneration of damaged bone tissues. Interestingly, sometimes cats start purring even in situations when they are frightened, in pain, or feel significant discomfort, which, according to researchers, is their instinctive way of self-soothing, stress relief, and self-healing. There is definitely some logic in this, isn't there? Have you ever caught your cat in a pose where it stares intently at some object or into space, with its mouth wide open and its gaze seemingly frozen? There is no need to worry about this. You are far from the only owner who has observed such a picture. One might assume that such an expression on your cat's face is related to it being strongly frightened, shocked, or extremely surprised. But in reality, the reason for such behavior lies in its desire to more intensively and thoroughly analyze some interesting smell. When cats take on this characteristic pose, this phenomenon has the scientific name of the Feline response. At this moment, they slightly lift their upper lip and open their mouth wide to better capture and direct the molecules of the smell to the special vomeronasal organ, Jacobson's organ, located on the palate. This allows them to obtain much more information about the smell than with normal breathing through the nose, creating the impression for the observer that something incredibly strong has struck or amazed your furry pet. For some completely inexplicable reason at first glance, cats sometimes demonstrate rather specific behavior. They take a vertical position, press tightly against some vertical surface, be it a wall, furniture, or a tree, and begin to spray small portions of urine around themselves. Sometimes you can even notice how your cat's body slightly twitches or vibrates during this intricate process. Such behavior is usually a reaction to situations where cats feel some threat to their peace, experience strong stress, or uncertainty in their surroundings. Spraying urine, or so-called marking, is an instinctive way for cats to mark the boundaries of their personal territory and, as a result, feel more secure and confident in unfamiliar or potentially dangerous conditions. This process helps your cat literally surround itself with its own familiar scent, which has a pronounced calming and soothing effect on it. Therefore, instead of getting angry at your pet for such puddles and stains, try to simply carefully clean up after it, and more importantly, make every effort to ensure that it feels as protected, calm, and comfortable as possible in your home. It comes as no big surprise to anyone that almost all members of the feline family have a deep, almost instinctive aversion to the bathing procedure. There seems to be something in the water itself that causes categorical rejection in cats, and a desire to avoid contact with it by any possible means. However, paradoxically, at the same time, cats are known for their exceptional cleanliness and desire to constantly keep their fur in perfect condition. What is the explanation for this apparent contradiction? The main reason for such a dislike of water procedures lies in the peculiarities of the structure of cat fur. It has the property of drying very slowly after getting wet. And since cats are extremely hygienic animals, they simply find it extremely uncomfortable and unpleasant to feel wet and drip water everywhere for a long time after forced bathing, waiting for their fur coat to dry completely. The behavior that cat owners often affectionately call making biscuits, or alternatively, kneading dough, is a fairly common phenomenon. It consists of your cat rhythmically pressing its front paws on some surface, usually choosing something soft and pliable for this, such as your blanket, pillow, sweater, or even your knees, as if it is really diligently kneading invisible dough. There are several theories attempting to explain the nature of this instinctive action. Some researchers believe that during this process, cats secrete special pheromones through special glands located on the pads of their paws. So, making biscuits can serve as one of the ways to mark their territory or loved one with their scent. However, the most popular and widely accepted opinion is that this is a rooted behavioral instinct that cats develop at a very early age as kittens. At that time, they had to actively knead their mother's belly to stimulate the production and flow of milk. For some not fully understood reason, this deeply ingrained instinct is preserved in many cats throughout their adult lives, manifesting itself in moments of special comfort and tranquility. You are certainly familiar with the situation when your cat is sitting or lying calmly and imperturbably, completely relaxed, and literally the next second, without any visible reasons or external stimuli, it suddenly dashes off and makes a swift, almost lightning-fast sprint from the point where it was peacefully resting just a few moments ago. These unexpected and sometimes quite comical dashes and runs may seem strange and devoid of any logic, but they usually occur at moments when your cat has accumulated an excessive amount of unused energy that it needs to urgently release. If you notice that your furry pet occasionally demonstrates such random sprints, make sure that you provide it with sufficient opportunities for regular physical activity every day. For example, through active games to help it expend excess energy, and thus avoid these sudden, albeit amusing, energy surges. The overwhelming majority of people tend not to consider cats as animals that can bite, but this perception does not quite correspond to reality. If you dare to carelessly or intentionally provoke your cat, upset its balance, it, without much thought, is capable of unleashing the full power of its displeasure on you, including the use of teeth. Cats usually resort to biting in cases when they experience significant discomfort. If something in your actions causes them irritation, anger, or fear. This is a kind of defensive tactic, a way to make it clear that they don't like something. Sometimes cats may also bite their owners if they feel they are not getting enough attention or affection, thereby trying to attract interest. The most logical and correct action in a situation where your cat bites you is to immediately stop any physical contact with it. After that, you can very gently, barely perceptibly, blow in its face to make it understand that such behavior is unpleasant to you, and so that it realizes that it should not bite so hard or resort to biting at all in communication with you. One of the most striking and truly amazing features of cats, causing admiration and bewilderment, is their incredible ability to fall from almost any height and, contrary to all the laws of physics, seemingly always manage to land precisely on all four paws, avoiding serious injuries. Although this may look like some secret superpower available only to these graceful creatures, in reality, this phenomenon is based on a combination of several physiological and anatomical advantages with which nature has generously endowed cats. First of all, these are their extremely fast reflexes, in particular, the so-called righting reflex. This innate mechanism allows cats to instantly orient themselves in space during a fall, adjust the angle of their paws and their entire flexible, elastic body in such a way as to maintain balance and ensure the most successful and safe landing. The fact that cats are relatively lightweight animals in relation to the size of their bodies also plays an important role, helping them to maneuver in the air and coordinate their movements to land precisely on their paws, which serve as natural shock absorbers without significant harm to their bodies. In other words, it can be confidently stated that the cat's body, its skeleton, musculature, and nervous system are specially designed by nature in such a way as to effectively cope with any falls and minimize the risk of injury. We would be very grateful if you could write in the comments under this material which of the unusual cat behaviors listed today surprised or intrigued you the most. Also, please don't forget to express your evaluation of our work by giving a thumbs up if the information was useful and interesting to you, and of course, subscribe to the channel so as not to miss a lot of other informative and exciting information in the future. See you in our next issues.